Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet in regular session on April the 8th, 2025, 10 a.m. The Commissioners Courtroom in County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is the invocation pledge of allegiance to the U.S. and Texas flag. Commissioner Connell will lead those.
Lord, I want to thank you for another day where we enjoy health and life, freedom in this great country. Thank you for those who watch over us, our military, our first responders. Today, I especially want to thank you for the men and women who serve in our volunteer fire departments all over the county. Bless all of us to come closer to you so that we might draw closer to each other in you. And if you would, Lord, also hold close my Aunt Nancy, who joined you a few hours ago. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Commissioner. Second item on the agenda is call for citizens' input and/or concerns. And we have a few that have signed up. Charlotte Stivers.
Thank you. Is this good?
That's good.
Good. I'm Charlotte Stivers, and I live on Meadow Green Lane and Green Branch Ridge. And so I wanted to speak about the loop, the East Loop. In December of 21, I moved into a new home. Sold my home in the Dallas area of 54 years and moved here to be close to my children. And 4 family entities bought lots in Green Branch Ridge because we wanted our homes closer together where the older ones could be cared for by the younger ones. So some of us built our forever homes and some of us built our dream homes. So in November of 22, in the bond election, I voted in every election since I've been here. And since I don't know my way around, I make it a habit to go to the voting poll and get a sample ballot and look it over. And I saw the bond listed. I inquired about what was in it. Well, that doesn't go on the ballot. And so I voted against it, not because of the East Loop, but because I didn't know what was in it. And so I did vote against it. I didn't hear anything else about the bond election until November of 24. So that's 2 years later. We got an invitation to come to the Brazos Center to give input regarding the East Loop, and it's just a study. And as it turns out, it was just a study on where to locate the loop. It wasn't a study on whether or not the loop was needed. And I know there are some documentations that were alluded to from 2017 and that the 2010 census was used. And, you know, a lot of things have changed since then. And when we came that night, there were hundreds of people from our community there. The parking lot was full. And we were shocked, devastated, hurt. Some were angry. And it was like being at a visitation for a funeral. It was quiet, it was respectful, but everybody just didn't know. What are we going to do? What to think? We were invited to put a sticky note on a map of the proposed routes. And we were allowed to put in comments in a computer, which broke down during the evening. But I think the message was nobody knew. Nobody knew And there was only one item on the bond election that touched on eminent domain, and that is this one. Out of all the other things on that bond, this one is the one that is changing people's lives, taking people's homes, disrupting businesses. It's just unfathomable. So nobody knew. And then after we did know and start asking questions and found out what it was, the study really was.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Darlene Barnes.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's Daylene, no R. I do not have a cute poem for y'all this time. Apologize ahead of time for that. But I am going to use a classic fairy tale as an analogy. Y'all familiar with the Emperor's New Clothes? There was an emperor who was so obsessed with beautiful clothes, a couple of slick salesmen came to the court and convinced him this new invisible material was the best and he had to have it. They took a lot of his gold and made new clothes for him. They gave him a slick sales pitch and told him that only the wise and the worthy could see the clothes, and anyone who couldn't see it was foolish and not to be trusted. All the emperor's advisors pretended to see the clothes so they wouldn't be thought foolish. The emperor couldn't see it either, but after he had put so much gold into the project, he had to play along. Only a little boy had the courage to say, "The emperor has no clothes." Only he spoke out against the invisible fabric. Well, we the residents of eastern Brazos County kind of feel like that little boy. Some slick salesman came in and sold our court a story that we needed an East Loop. Pretty much told us that only the foolish and the unwise couldn't see that with the projected growth, we had to have a line on the map from north to south through hundreds of taxpayers' property to get us from where? Scott and White to Top of the Hill Burgers? I mean, they've got great burgers, but do we need a $600 million road to get us there? So I've been wondering, giving some serious thought, what was in Polster's sales pitch that convinced everyone we needed this East Loop? Was it the quoted growth rate? I've looked at the projected growth rates from the past. Logic and past demographics tell us that growth rate is not realistic, especially with A&M's new halt on enrollment. Was it a traffic study? No, because that hasn't actually been done yet. We need a traffic study that looks at real traffic patterns and problems in our county, not one made up to justify a line on the map. Was it the lure of outside funds, matching funds, grants? That's kind of like when your grandma gives you $10,000. If she tells you you can only spend it on her favorite face cream, really doesn't do you a whole lot of good. You want to make a truck payment, put braces on your kids' teeth. You don't want to buy face cream. So we've got this money. Do we really need it? I directly asked Mr. Polster in that now infamous November meeting what price tag it would take for a no-build option to come into play. His reply was shocking, and it was a projection of reality on this project. He said that money would never be a factor for a no-build. No matter how much it cost in land and property acquisition, relocating of pipelines and rivers and streams and swamplands, high cost would never yield a no-build. The only thing that would be their own internal environmental and traffic studies showing no need, or one of the civic entities involved calling a halt to the project. And we know that study that they're going to do is going to provide evidence that a loop is needed. They're not looking at whether we need it or not. They're only looking at where they want to put it. Y'all, that sounds like a lot of invisible fabric. Where we're standing, the emperor has no clothes. I would ask each one of y'all, especially those of you who were not on the court when all this first happened, to go back and review what Polster said, what he used to convince both the MPO and this court that the East Loop was actually needed. Look unbiasedly at the tale he spun of the need for this loop. The reality is he and his company took their cookie cutter loop that they devised for bigger cities with higher populations and tried to apply it to our small rural community with less than 300,000 people. Find out where the real traffic issues are and offer solutions for those. Please stop this thing before it's too late. Be the civic entity that cries halt, because seriously, walking naked through the streets is not a good look. Thank you.
Thank you. Kyle Greenwood.
Good morning,
Morning.
Judge, members of the court. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here this morning to continue populating the record with our objection to the Inner East Loop proposal and the deceptive and irresponsible manner in which it was foisted upon all the residents of Brazos County. At our first town hall, we asked for time, transparency, and public participation. You granted the time, and we appreciated that. Transparency has been less than what we've gotten. In fact, at this point, now we have secrecy. Since the original time for comments was closed, new alignments have been set, and meetings are being held in secret, and nobody else can see it other than just specific landowners. That's not transparency in the process, and that's what we've asked for, is transparency. Additionally, we've asked for opportunities for public participation, and that hadn't happened either, Judge. So I respectfully request that you follow the lead of Commissioner Nettles and hold a town hall where you hear from all your constituents about what we would like to have happen in the county. I respectfully request you follow the lead of Commissioner Brown, who's actively engaging with the community via social media. We renew our request for time, transparency, and public participation, and again, renew our objection to the Inner East Loop proposal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy Wiley.
Yikes. I have to follow that. But I think that is a perfect example of why you guys are suffering from a credibility problem. And I don't know that you're out there about with the normal people or the regular people to understand why there's a distrust. It keeps coming up about the no East Loop, and I've not said anything about it. But after hearing those three today and all the other ones that I've listened to, I think you have a big problem on your hands. So I wasn't going to speak this morning, but you know, sometimes when you have that nagging going on in your shoulder, you're like, okay, fine, I'll speak. And I jotted down a couple of things. And I listened back at the workshop that you guys had last week. And I just have a couple of comments for it. I understand, Commissioner Brown, what you're trying to do, and I respect that. I am thrilled that my commissioner is going to have a town hall. I think that's awesome. I would ask the three of you that have been on the bench that haven't had town halls, why? I think you should reflect back and ask yourself why. It's the new guys, and I call you that respectfully, who are trying to engage with the public. And I think that's very impressive, and I thank you for that. One thing I have noticed about this area is a lot of people judge each other on their pedigree. What class did you graduate in? Are you an Aggie? I'm not. I don't have a college degree. But in my house, I created a $12 million restaurant chain. And I have been courted by Subway to try to buy my chain. So you don't have to have a pedigree to have common sense, to be a critical thinker, to understand what the needs are of the people. I mean, I was chased for interviews all over the place. I've got interviews out there, not in this state, but in a different state. So it's like I've been in a similar position that you guys. Now I'm a regular person, and I like it. And I have more privacy. But you know, there's a lot of us that attend here. We would probably be happy to share with you what we think are some of the obstacles that this court needs to overcome in order to be more accessible to the public. But at the same time, if you're coming here and you're saying, let's be open to the public, you have to reciprocate. And you have to be able to be open to hearing the criticisms of the decisions that we think you guys are making and how you're spending our money. So it's a two-way street. I don't know that, you know, we've been received warmly from some of the people on this court. We were labeled. People know it. So I think you probably have a credibility problem with just that. So anyway, take what you want out of what I said. I did just want to share. I do have a comment, one more comment. I've asked for a clock to be put here so that the people can control their 4 minutes, because it's insulting, I think, for people to be told, stop talking, when they could manage their own last sentence and wrap up their conversation the way that they want to, instead of being told, you have to stop talking. I think that's insulting. My time's up. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Beans.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm just going to work from some notes. When Commissioner Brown had first suggested a DOJ effort, and I was on board with that, I was taking the meaning to be what federally has been defined as investigating fraud, waste, and abuse. Not that we have that issue, but just to make that an open process. But somehow it morphed into transparency, which I'm also on board with, so I just wanted to discuss about transparency issues. Commissioner Nettles has graciously and very appreciatively offered to do a town hall with his precinct. And I think this is an amazing first step. I've lived here for 15 years. I've never seen any commissioner have a town hall in their precinct, so I'm excited about that possibility starting. And in that effort, I thought, oh, I have a lot of friends that live in College Station, and Brian, I wonder who is in Commissioner Nettles' precinct that I could call. So I went on the website and I put people's addresses. You know, you can't look up your commissioner by address. So I thought, all right, well, there's Brazos Votes. That tells you who you can vote for. But nope, that doesn't have it either. And I thought that's an opportunity for transparency that you could add to the website, where people could put their address in and see what commissioner represents them, instead of manipulating that map and finding their street on a map and finding out which color and they overlap and it's confusing. Maybe that could be added to the website. And I want to mention that Commissioner Nettles' town hall is on the 9th. I hope that you mention that at the end of today's meeting as a public announcement. Also, the county website has no ability to have questions and answers posed to their commissioners. And I think that would be an opportunity on the website that you could link your commissioner by your precinct and publicly ask questions that could be publicly answered, so that if other people in your precinct have the same questions, they would see the answers. And that would be an opportunity, if you can't go out to people's homes, that you could have people come to you on that website and ask you questions. And you could answer questions for multiple people that have the same question. That would be a great addition to the county website. I would like it to have the ability on that website to search for grants. There's been grants that have been given to different businesses, to one business over another, and I would have liked to see that. The example that comes to mind is Meals on Wheels representative told me that they had put in for a grant. I don't remember it being on the agenda, so I don't know when it happened. But they said they wanted to, when the building was being changed, somebody, I think there was an estate that owned the property, and they wanted to buy it, and they were looking for funds, and they applied for a grant from the county. And I was told that that grant was given to the Shipwreck Restaurant instead of Meals on Wheels. And I thought, I wonder what other grants are being given that I might look at and see who applied and who was given, because that would be transparent. And I look forward to town halls from each of the commissioners and from you, Judge. And the East Slope people have been asking for an open forum town hall, a Q&A. I've seen interviews on television done giving the county's perspective, but the microphone is not shared with people of opposite opinions, and so there's no opportunity for citizens to see the back and forth. And it's in the communicating of the back and forth that I think things can be reconciled and some of the problems in relations could be improved. So those are my suggestions.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, I am not aware that the county ever gave or even considered or was asked for a grant from the Shipwreck Grill. It is possible the city did an economic development item for them, but that would not have been us.
Okay, that was the last public speaker, so we will consider to take action on agenda items 3 through 19, and I might comment now that Commissioner Watson is with us via Zoom. So we'll move to number 3. Is proclamation 25-18 proclaiming the month of Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion made, seconded. Do we have, I think we've got 2 here, Kim DeMitt and, is it Leah White? Yeah, y'all come on up. Y'all. I will first read the proclamation. Whereas the effects of sexual assault go far beyond the physical, and victims often develop a number of psychological conditions such as post-traumatic stress disorder and depression, affecting families, friends, and Texas communities, spurring fear and anger and a sense of vulnerability. And whereas few survivors of sexual violence seek help immediately after victimization due to the shame or the fear of not being believed. To end sexual assault, we must alleviate these fears and begin by believing. And whereas, as members of a caring society, members of the community across the state of Texas must unite to remove the stigma of rape, and the Brazos Valley community must continue to dialogue started by a Sexual Assault Resource Center in their places of work, schools, and homes. And whereas each year the month of April provides the opportunity for Sexual Assault Resource Center and the Rape Crisis Center across the state to renew the commitments to serve their communities. Educational efforts also intensify, which ensure that Texans are aware of sexual assault services available in their area. And now, therefore, we, the Commissioners Court of Brazos County, do designate April 25 as Sexual Assault Awareness Prevention Month. Signed by the Commissioner Court. So, come on up, y'all.
I can guess that a lot of you aren't here for this, but while you're here, I'm gonna capture your attention. I just want to thank you all for acknowledging what he just read and how we get back to some sort of a normalcy where people feel safe in talking to the police about their victimization. So I would encourage you, as we do, to support all survivors and the process that ensues after it happens. Thank you.
You want to speak also? Okay. Come on up. Let's take pictures.
Okay.
And I'm going to, yeah, come down here, stand, and I will get you a copy of this when I get Commissioner Watson's signature on it.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on just.
Okay, we can. All right. Take the post to top.
Take all the tags.
No worries. Thank you, ma'am. Sure.
Thank y'all for the work you do. God bless.
Thank you.
We hadn't voted on that, I don't think. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 4 is approval of the appointment of Doug Box to Brazos County Emergency Services District ESD 3 for the unexpired term of Brady Denham, ending December 31, 2025.
Move for approval?
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries.
Aye.
Number 5 is permission to advertise an auction for surplus property.
Move for approval?
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
Judge, is there any of this surplus property that could be donated to nonprofits? I don't know what all is
I
involved.
think there's some
so-
rules about that that were put on us by the legislature, but I'll let Charles answer.
I didn't vote for that.
I'm sure.
We'll have to go back and check the record on that, Commissioner.
Thanks, Charles.
We try to vet the stuff that we have. The majority of the stuff we have now is complete junk. I mean, it is not have much useful life, or it's something, the arbitrators, for example, that came out of the law enforcement vehicles, we don't want those to go further. They need to be destroyed. We'll peruse through there and see if there is anything of value that may be available or useful to some of the nonprofits, but most of it has reached the end of its useful life.
Okay. Thank you, Charles.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thanks, Charles. We got a motion and a second? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 6 is authorization of county judge to sign an extension of tolling agreement originally approved and executed by the Commissioners Court on January 23rd, 2024, and I think we want to table this. Is that-
Yes, sir. One of the other parties made a last-minute change to the agreement, and so the other attorneys involved all need to review that. I expect it'll be back on next week.
So I'll ask for a motion to table.
Motion to table?
Second.
Motion made, seconded to table. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 7 is approval of amendment number 8 to IQ 25-001R for pest control services with All-Star Pest Control to include the parking garage and bus terminal for servicing.
Move for approval?
Second.
Motion made, seconded, and I think we've got one to speak. Jody Quimby. There you are.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'm Jody Quimby, 4686 River Garden Court in Bryan. I'm here to actually address items 7 through 11. They all involve the parking garage, and I'm not completely sure about what all the relationship is between the county and the parking garage, but I see you're spending money here on the garage. I was unaware that you had any operational duties there. I'm asking for an explanation of what the relationship is, why you have cost over there, why you're I don't know whether you're operating the garage or leasing the garage or owning the garage. I don't know how many people in the general public understand anything about it. I sure don't. So in summary, I'd like to know if the county's involvement with the garage is a benefit to the county residents, and if that benefit outweighs whatever liability you're taking on with relationship to that situation.
Okay, so you've asked your questions. If you don't mind taking a seat, I'll try to answer it for you. So when the garage was built, the county donated the property for the garage to be built on, and it was built with grant funds from the federal government. It was really for the benefit of the county mostly, but it was employees and jurors, and so it was the benefit of the county. And of course, then the transit district has operated it all this time, but in the deed, when we transferred, there was not a mechanism that we could actually get some other outside agreements. It was pretty much a handshake that we would get to park there free. The employees and the jurors would get to park there free. But clearly, it has not been a money-making proposition for the transit district, because most of the people that park there are jurors and employees. So the only way that the transit district can operate at a break-even or profit is to start charging for county, to start charging the county for all that. So, I mean, that was where we were kind of at, is that we could probably look at in the future, the county's going to start having to pay for all of that one way or the other. So because we were long-term, that garage comes back to the county per the deed. It comes back to the county. The transit district approached and said, if you would like to do that early, we will. They couldn't give it back to us because the grant funds that were actually built it are still, I mean, they're paid off, but they're still control what the bus terminal down there, and that's why they have to keep the bus terminal. The rest of it they could turn over with $1 a year lease to the county. But this hadn't been a money-making deal, and we were probably fixing to have to start picking up these expenses, whether it's through we paying them directly or whether we take it over in the lease agreement that we've got right now. So we are the prime beneficiary of the parking over there, and so rather than having to deal with paying them and them still running the operation over there, we chose that the best way to handle it was for them to lease it to us for $1 a year. We take over the maintenance and operation of it, because we'd be paying for that one way or the other, I believe, in the near future. So that's really where we're at. I believe that it was certainly the best thing to do. Ultimately, we would take that over, in many years ahead. We will make sure that is maintained and kept up, and to the degree that hopefully we'll never have a problem with it. But we took it over structurally. Everything's good over there. We don't have a problem with anything coming in. They did some pre-maintenance before we actually signed that. They were trying to get some things done. They've got most of that done. I think the gates are the only thing that they lack, and that's only because they couldn't get the gates in. There's a problem, with supply. So that's where we're at.
Judge, you might add that we do keep the revenue on people that park, on different events that happen in downtown Bryant. We keep that revenue, and that's $8 a day. Is that correct? Or $8 a visit, or anyway, whatever the revenue is, we get to keep the revenue. So there is an offset there.
I'm gonna let you come. You want to ask one question? Come up.
Okay, so who owns the garage?
Parking garage. I mean, the transit district owns it still, and will continue until that contract the deed says that it will come to us at some future date.
100 years from now or next
No,
year?
I think it was, I don't remember whether it was 30 years or 40, I don't remember, but there's a definite date of when the deed says it comes back to us.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, one opposition.
Judge, I do want to say that thank you to Charles. We did get a local vendor on this pest control service, so kudos to Charles.
Okay. Number 8 is approval of amendment number 1, bid 25-006R, fire alarm monitoring with Herman. Installation will be $250 and a monthly charge of $35.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
One opposition, motion carries. Number 9 is approval of amendment number 2, IQ 25-009R, fire extension sprinkler system inspection, maintenance, and testing with Brigade Fire Solutions LLC. Add the parking garage location to be serviced.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
One motion carries. Number 10 is approval of amendment number 2, contract 25-072R elevator maintenance with Cone Inc. to add parking garage and community supervision and corrections department to amend the contract term.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
One opposition, motion carries. Number 11 is approval of contract 25-118 commercial general liability insurance proposal, Roy Kelly Parking Garage with Kinsale Insurance Company via Alliant Insurance Services in the amount of $14,743.34.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion.
Judge, I visited with Charles on this yesterday. Every time that we hire a broker to place insurance for the county, it costs us additional taxpayer dollars that we shouldn't be having to pay. A broker's going to make 10%, 15%, 20%, depending on what the insurance is. And I just hope that in the future we can quit going to a broker and just start advertising for bids from different insurance companies and not using a broker at all. So.
Okay, all right, thank you, Commissioner. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
One opposition, motion carries. Number 12 is request from Brazos County Municipal Utility District Number 1 and Southern Point LLC for acceptance of the following Southern Point roadways into the Brazos County road system, Southern Point Section 105 and Southern Point Section 109, pursuant to the interlocal and funding agreement for the maintenance of roads between Brazos County and Brazos County Municipal Utility District Number 1 dated December 27, 2016. Brazos County does not assume any responsibility for the maintenance of the accepted roads. Sites located in Precinct 1.
Move to approve A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 13 is approval requested for tax refund application for Amanda Holland in the amount of $104.98 pursuant to tax code section 33.011.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 15 is budget amendments, but okay, I'm sorry. Number 14 is tax refund application for the following.
Move for approval A.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to approve A. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Now, number 15 is budget amendments, FY 24-25 budget amendments 25.01 through 25.05.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 16 is personnel change of status.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 17 is payment of claims. Approval of claims 8208924 through claim number 8209054 and claim number 9203924 through claim number 9204017.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. We will skip down, and number 20 is acknowledgement of the Brazos County Emergency Services District Number 2 financial statement for the year ended September 30, 2024. 21 is acknowledgment of the monthly report of the county auditor for January 2025. 22 is FY26 budget instructions and worksheets to be distributed to departments on April 8, 2025. Deadline for departments to complete the budget request is set for May 23, 2025. Number 23 is acknowledgment of the FY24-25 budget actuals by fund as of April the 2nd, 2025, and an acknowledgment of the FY 2024-25 contingency budget actuals by fund as of April the 2nd, 2025. 24 is juvenile director's report on detention population. I don't see Linda here. Was she able to get anything? I don't think I have any information about juvenile today. I know that they had Joel's visitation yesterday, and it's in fact the funeral I think was this morning at 10 o'clock. Next item on the agenda is Sheriff's report on inmate population. Sheriff.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. 710 today, 618 men, 92 women, 39 on electronic monitoring.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Number 26 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
Thank you, Judge. I'm really pleased to announce I got a call back from Glenn Brewer, the head of the Chamber of Commerce, and he's agreed to have a vendor fair so that people can come in and find out how they can do business with the county with their chamber members, and they'll advertise it for their chamber members. And in addition to that, the city of Bryan has agreed to be part of it. Texas A&M has agreed to be part of it. College Station ISD, and I think Charles is waiting now to see if Bryan ISD is going to be part of it. So that's going to happen on May 1. It'll be in conjunction to their job fair that they have, and it'll all be at the Brazos Center. So we're really excited about that. This is a real opportunity for local businesses to learn how to bid for the process of getting jobs within the county and the other entities that we talked about. So May 1, put it on your calendar, please.
All right.
Very
Thanks,
good.
Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
So, Judge, I'd like to announce my town hall. So,
Okay, sure.
tomorrow, from 5 to 8 at Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Justice, the JP, the constable, and I will all be there to have a town hall. We're going to have the sheriff there also, and also Jason Ware, the emergency management coordinator, to talk about the programs that the county has can help people, and also to listen to constituents to see what their issues are. I do want to clarify something though, because I'm a lawyer, so I plagiarize dramatically. This is not an original idea. The judge and Commissioner Kondolov participated in town halls last fall, and Commissioner Watson participated in a town hall with Ray Arrington. So I just copied what they did. The only difference is we got Kenny Elliott and Jeff Reeve together because we all represent the same people. So this is really for Precinct 1 residents. Anybody's welcome. If you're an animal lover, Aggie Land Humane Society will have Pearl there. She will be eligible for adoption. So if you don't want to come meet the politicians, come meet Pearl. So it is Justice of the Peace Precinct 1 off of William B. Fitch.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner. Any other announcement of interest items or possible future agenda topics? Hearing none, we will move back up and convene an executive session pursuant to the following. A, Texas Government Code 551.087 for deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. B, Texas Government Code 551.0725 to deliberate business and financial issues related to contract being negotiated. And C, Texas Government Code 551.071 to consult with an attorney about pending or contemplated litigation and/or settlement offer.
And
Counselor.
Judge, pursuant to item B, I have submitted my written determination that open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the Commissioners Court in negotiations with the third person, and that's been filed with the court.
Okay, so I need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve meeting?
Second?
Motion made and seconded, and it needs to be a unanimous vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. I see Commissioner Watson is raising her right hand also, so it's unanimous. So that passes. We'll go ahead and take the economic development negotiations in that first, and so that'll need Kimberly and I'm sure budget and auditor's office, of course, the Commissioner's Court, Aubrey, and attorneys, chief of staff. I don't really, do you remember anybody else that needs to be in there?
No, sir.
I think that's it, and then we'll do the contract next. And are you familiar with Counselor, who needs to be in that? Who maybe?
Fred, Ed should be down shortly, Charles.
Probably the
Budget,
and,
auditor.
okay, all right, so it goes the same plus them. All right, and the time is 10:46. All right, we're coming back out of executive session. The time is 11:54. There's no action to be taken. Next item is to adjourn. Thank y'all.